Hi Brendan.
I'm sorry, who are you?
My name's Hannah. We scheduled this today.
I have never heard of you. What's your full name?
Hannah Rolfe. We've been friends for like 8 years.
I don't recall. I'm sorry.
That's very rude.
How did you get in here?
I mean, you let me in and you're paying me to be here today.
I didn't agree to that. Did my publicist agree this, or
You don't have a publicist, Brendan. This is ridiculous. You do this every time.
This is some crap.
So how you been, mate?
Good. Yeah. It's been a few years since
Yeah.
I've done anything like this, so yeah.
Yeah. Have been up to anything in specific?
So yeah, I got very stale in Hamilton and felt the need to completely try something new, exciting.
I mean, Hamilton is a very stale place.
Yeah, I just saw growth in my future, and I just felt like just a little bit limited in Hamilton. And so change of city, be a bit more exciting, more opportunities, especially with music. So I moved up here about 2 years ago.
Here to Auckland.
Yep. Yep. So Auckland, and yeah, I got a job at ANZ, so working as a banker now.
It's a bit different to the band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened after leaving the latest fallout?
So yeah, that was a big decision to make the call to stop that, because that was pretty much kind of the wheel that wouldn't stop, you know. But yeah, I just felt like it was a natural time and place that I'd done all I could do with it. My best mates leaving the band was kind of like a natural progression that we all kind of served its purpose, and you know, I was trying to carry it on a little bit longer, but yeah, it served its purpose, and best memories of my life. Like, I'd never change it. Yeah, but now just focusing on my own music, trying to find my way as a solo artist and what that means for me, and creating that sound that I want. Yeah.
And what was the emotional and mental toll that it took to make that decision to leave the band?
There's quite a lot, to be honest. Yeah, just the way the band had changed, I suppose. Wasn't really aligning with where my life was progressing. And I had different goals for myself. Like, I wanted to have just normal things, you know, like relationships and having a proper stable job, you know, instead of dipping in and out of, you know, part-time jobs that would never eventuate into an actual career or anything, you know, just to be able to have the opportunity to keep music alive. And I was just like, there comes a certain age when you just have to dive into like a proper job and start saving for a house in the future. So I was a little bit late to the boat, but I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird, because I was stuck between like being a nobody and like people knowing who you are. So like you get some of the, you know, like people seeing you in public, to like just forming these, you know, awesome experiences, like with fans of people who love the music, but so much expectation, and it's like you have to keep driving this machine or else people lose interest, and it's kind of like you just have to step off and just go like, this is not serving me anymore. Like, it's only taking from my life, I suppose. So it took a big toll, and it was like a big decision to make, but ultimately I needed to slow down and like focus on who I am as a person, change the things that I'm doing that are possibly hurting other people, like becoming a better person of myself. And I didn't have the time back then when I was managing the band, like running everything, working, studying, having next to no social life. You know, it was all too much. So came to my senses and was just like, let's just stop this for now. Yeah. And let's just take our time.
And do you think that was a collective decision as well? Was it more your decision?
I think that's a bit of a hard one, to be honest, because I was the one that was doing everything. Like, it was, if I stopped, it stopped. You know, so I felt, I did talk with the guys, and I was, you know, pretty open about it and saying, what do we do? You know, are you fine if I do this? And consulted with them, and they said that it was fine. And yeah, I didn't like just pull the plug and be like, too bad.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely consulted with them, and also with the music that we recorded, I was like, what, are you happy if I, you know, use some of it for me, for my solo stuff? Because some of the solo stuff I've released was recorded in intention for the band, so yeah, so I definitely consulted with them and made sure they were happy to move forward. Yeah, I hope they're still doing music, you know, like I still keep in constant contact with Jared and Jeremy's, you know. And yeah, definitely still keen as to do music with them again. Yeah.
So you shaved your head during lockdown.
Yeah, mate.
What happened? What's the process with that one?
So with that one, lockdown was crazy. I just never thought that I would live through something like that. Like none of us did. And yeah, I'm not going to say that I like went nuts and did it. You know, I did it because I felt it was very important for me.
And also couldn't get a haircut.
That was definitely the driving force, you know. Yeah, that's what started it. I was just like, I am going nuts with not being able to have a haircut, and I knew it would be a long time. So I just thought, I'll just go out into the yard and use my camera on my phone to try and just do the sides. And clearly didn't think it through, because how am I going to get the lines perfectly there? And even if I do, how am I going to get the back? And it'd be a normal job. So I was just like, as I was doing it, I just felt this sense of confidence, and I was just like, just get rid of it. And it was so natural, which felt like I was freeing myself, I suppose. Which I haven't really felt that before, so it was quite, you know, when your body just takes over and it was like, you need to do this, you know. But yeah, like all my life I've always been, I don't know, just so, I suppose, like insecure about the way I look and how I'm supposed to look. And so in the band I had like long hair, because, you know, if you look at my hair before the band, it wasn't as long, but getting, I don't know, used to that kind of attention, I kind of hid behind it and was like, this is what you want to see instead of me, because it was very scared. Like I don't know, it's just a scary thing to be performing all the time and people looking at you, and I got performance anxiety from that. And that's a whole other thing. Yeah, like I hid behind haircuts and like hairstyles because I just couldn't love the way I looked, or like, and so getting rid of it was like a sense of like, you're not going to be able to hide behind a hairstyle for like quite a few months now. So you need to learn to look in the mirror and go outside and like what you see instead of hating it. So it was really therapeutic, like just like being in the shower some days and like just feeling that you don't have hair. You know, it's just like you're fine the way you are kind of thing, instead of and just relearning to see yourself in a different way, because I could easily cut my hair again in like a month or so and be happy with the length, because I don't have to hide behind a hairstyle or I don't know, whatever. And like all of my friends know and knew that like my hair was very important, so it was quite a quite a therapeutic decision. So I'm so glad I did it. Yeah.
What have you been up to with like your music now? Because you've been like releasing some single solo music.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's the story behind that?
What's the story? Okay, so obviously I was pretty keen after the band stopped to get some music out instead of, you know, there's always that fear of, oh, your band's over and the void is just like sucked you away and that's it, you know, and there's just never hear from you again. So I was keen to keep some of that flow going so that people didn't think I just disappeared. But so I released my first ever single by myself in May, so I stopped the band in March, so that was pretty straight away, to a really good response. Like, it was a very R&B like sound that I am obsessed with. Like, I love R&B, so I really wanted to be more true to what I really like and always have. Like, the band music was definitely me, but like this is more like my obsession is R&B. I just love that kind of music. So I released that, and then 2 other singles since then. I did 2 covers as well. Also just like, I don't know, flexing what I can do with my voice without a band. So more stripped back and more focused on my voice, I suppose. And yeah, just doing what I love and just taking it easy instead of being so obsessively like pushing, and just relaxing with it. And if people like it and they vibe with it, that's really the most important thing. And yeah, I recorded all that stuff at Roundhead Studios, so amazing experience. But yeah, I just want to keep writing and doing more. Yeah, seeing where it takes me.
Coming back to lockdown, how was lockdown for you? Like, what was the struggles that you had with it, and then what was the positives that came out of it? Because I guess just for people in general, we're quite fresh out of lockdown now, so we're in level 2, hopefully going to level 1 on Monday, and it's been over 8 weeks now of people not really seeing each other and stuff like that, which is it's definitely a new thing for us, our generation, definitely. So yeah, how has that been for you?
At the start, it really didn't bother me. I'm kind of like a person who likes to choose when you see people, kind of thing, so I don't need to be around people all the time. But at the start, it really didn't bother me. I was like, okay, this is really weird, but you know, when you're at the start or in the moment of something, you don't know how it's going to eventuate or what's going to happen long term. So I just thought, oh, this will be fine, and just, yeah, I kind of started my own routine, which I think was really good. What was annoying though is that I got up at pretty much 8 o'clock every single day. So that was, I suppose it was good, but it was a bit annoying that I couldn't sleep in. I just don't know why.
Because you still had to go into work?
Every second week. Yeah, every second week for 3 days was the only work I had. So for the rest of the time I should have probably been sleeping in, but I like to set routine. I find that's probably my personality, I suppose. When there's nothing to do, I just set up some kind of routine, and that's new for me because I don't think I'd do that. So yeah, they did the Les Mills classes on TV on demand, and I made sure I got up before 9 o'clock to be able to do them. But I only started doing the body balance ones because they're really good. They end with like mindfulness meditation, and that I found was just so key in like fighting like any kind of anxiety that came.
Was that new for you over lockdown, to like do some sort of meditation?
Yeah, yeah, always knew I needed to, and knew that it was so beyond beneficial for me, but just never had the channel access, I suppose, to experience it. So experiencing it for free during that was massive for me. But yeah, after the first, I think 5 or 6 weeks, like just before we came out of level 4, I was definitely starting to just get over it, like walking around the house going, ah, you know, just like it's just not being allowed to do anything that you normally do was just, I think, finally taking its toll. So I must be someone who like slowly gets really annoyed with that kind of thing, like not being able to do normal things. But yeah, there were definitely days where it was just like every day bleeds into the next day and you're just like going insane because you're just sitting at home not really doing anything. So that routine was so important to keep me, you know, so I'd do the classes on demand and then have breakfast and then I don't know, like watch some kind of TV and then have lunch and then I'd go for a run every second day and then come home in time to watch the news. Keep up with like some kind of social, you know, what's going on out there, like, what y'all doing?
As we get older, the news is more like something that we do.
Yeah, like it's crucial now, especially right now. Like I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And as the world that we're in is changing so much, it's kind of like you need to be educated, you know, and you need to find out what's going on. But yeah, definitely a hard process to go through for everyone. And like, you always think of people who aren't as fortunate. How is it for them? Like, are they, like, people lost their jobs?
Yeah.
Families struggling to pay the mortgage, like,
Yeah.
It could be far worse, so, yeah.
So because we had time, like with lockdown, to be in our own thoughts and stuff like that, did you think about how differently you view the world now post-band and like in coming into your solo career, I guess, as an artist?
Yeah.
I guess having all that time post-band and then with lockdown, you would have had some thought processes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like the life that I have now is the life that I made for myself, if that makes sense. Like, I'm an adult now, like I'm no longer in my 20s, like coming into a new decade is like, I used to be scared of that, and like especially being in a band where, you know, people like your band and like the members and stuff. It sounds really pathetic, but I was very obsessive about my age, and it really worried me. Because while I was in the band, it was all past being 25 kind of thing. So yeah, I was scared of people finding out my age because then they might not like the band or might not like me because I'm too old, you know. All those little things were obsessive for me. Like I would never let anyone know how old I was, like to the point where I'd lie about it. So yeah, just made sure I changed that. And just be more honest and real, because you can't fake your life, you know. And yeah, I work at the bank now. I vocal coach in my spare time, like on the weekends, and I love it because it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like I can have the secure like 9-to-5 job, that's incredible, and then still be able to do my solo music and still be able to vocal coach. So yeah, making a life that works for my life now, where I am in this point in my life, instead of like the band being in that and just being so busy I couldn't really choose much of what I wanted with my life with that. Not saying it was like beating a dead horse or anything, but like I couldn't have what I have now if I still stayed with the band and doing it as busy as it was. Yeah, so I just had to make some decisions and make the best life for myself.
With like the struggles that you've talked upon, has that given you any struggles with like anxiety and depression, and I guess how's your mental health been over the last couple of, over your whole life, I guess?
That's a really good question. I just think it's really important to talk about, because past generations and like people who don't experience it are just like this is not real, and it is. Like, it's just a little bit frustrating that you know, it's like there's a bus coming towards you. No, it's not. You know, it's like we've got to see the reality for what it is. I didn't ever have anxiety until I was like 24. I think that's when it first came in for me. And it was just this feeling like your life's in danger, but it's not. You know, it's just intense fear, or like blood's rushing and your heart's pumping, and you just, it's such a horrible, like, caged in feeling, you know. And I just have felt it on and off since I was like 24. Because, you know, I always grew up thinking, only old women who are crazy have, you know, mental problems and all that. And it's like, no, everyone can experience it. Like, some are so closed in with it. It's, I can't imagine. It's definitely something that's ruined my life at times. Like, it's very, very hard, and I've never taken anything to manage it or stop it. I just know certain things I can bring it on or make it worse, but I'm still not completely in control of it. I am trying to constantly change the way I view the world, though, so that things don't get to me as much, or just see the world differently. But depression's something I've felt like on and off my whole life.
Have you sought any outside help for it?
A few years ago, I started getting counselling just before I moved out of Hamilton. I found it quite beneficial because it was just a natural outpouring of things you needed to get off your chest that you'd like kept locked away. So I think that's really important. If anyone hasn't seen like a counsellor or a therapist, that it's probably good practice, unless your life's perfect. But I don't think many people's are. Been in counselling for like the last almost a year and a half. I did stop it a few months ago because we kind of didn't keep in contact, and I felt like maybe I'll just leave it for now, because I don't feel like I'm needing it as much right now. Not to say that I'm like fixed or I've arrived or anything, but I do feel like there is a give and take. Like, a counsellor can only do so much to help you see your life, like hold up a mirror, because I think it's really important that we all see ourselves. Like, as a counsellor does, pretty much just holds up a mirror and says, you know, this is a third party view on what is actually happening. You know, do you agree, or blah blah blah. So I kind of just stopped it because I know I'd had it quite constantly, so it had helped me view things differently. Not saying I won't seek out some more, because I'm looking at finding someone else now, but I think it's so important to just keep yourself in check and just see how you view the world and how others may be viewing you. I think it's important to just educate yourself on yourself. And
there's nothing wrong with using it as a coping mechanism when and where you need it as well. So, how's your love life and dating life?
Hit and miss, mate.
Saucy.
Dry
July. Not in July.
It's been a dry decade, to be honest.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
So this is a big box. Being brought up the way that I was, like being brought up Christian, very difficult for me, because one of my parents is very Christian and the other is very atheist, so super unbalanced and very opposing. So I always felt like I was like torn between both views. One seemed to be very logical, the other seemed to be very fantastical, you know. Like, I still have a large amount of respect for Christianity and everything like that, but yeah, it was very hard growing up like that because just so many constraints and being told how to live your life. And so like when I was 15 I completely stopped and was just like whatever, and then had like a 3-year relationship with this girl's first ever relationship. Didn't want anything to do with it, and then came back to it when I was like 23 when I started at Wintec. And that was like my choice to like come back and do it for me instead of what I was brought up in. And then
is that coming back to Christianity?
Yeah. And yeah, I felt like it really got me through some difficult times, but yeah, when I was like 27, 28, it just wasn't for me anymore. I don't know, I could blame it on the way that I was shown Christianity. But yeah, it just wasn't for me anymore. Like it may be again, I'm not sure. But I just, just right now, I just don't know. Like I definitely believe there's a God. I just don't really have much else to say about that one.
How has that impacted your dating life and your sexuality?
Yeah, so...
Because sexuality is such an open book,
yeah,
isn't it?
And it should be, yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a spectrum or a wide view that how has being brought up Christian affected that for you?
I just... Such a hard one.
Hitting the hard topics here.
Yeah. I really need to think about this one a bit more. I think the no sex before marriage thing has been just something that I've always struggled with because I'd done it and had been doing it, for a while, so don't really believe closing a door on something you've already done, can do any difference. So, but yeah, going back to what I was saying before, which I think is very important, is that pretty much from 22 till 28, I didn't touch any physical being or like person sexually because I wasn't allowed to. And that really got to me.
Did that create resentment for you?
Definitely. And it kind of sparks the no wonder you're single in my head because you've denied yourself the happiness for so long. And so, yeah, I almost don't want to say there is, but yeah, there is some resentment in that because why... I can't fathom it, why you have to not do that when it also teaches you shame about your own body, your own sexuality, your own wants and desires. Like, should you really hate yourself because of what's natural? Because you're told it's not natural. So those things really held me back and stuffed me up when anyone else my age was out there doing it or meeting people. But I just felt such intense shame and guilt and trying to do the right thing and like give me a sign.
Yeah.
That never came. So it was kind of like really, really held me back and kind of stunted me romantically or like dating wise. So I definitely won't be in a hurry to go back into that way of living just because no one should ever be alone. Like, I've been alone for a long time, and yeah, it's not a fun time. Like, I've had to learn myself, who I am, and all that kind of stuff, which I suppose is good, but no one should ever have to be alone because of what they believe in. I'm very against that. And also like gay people in churches. I've seen a lot of guys come out from the church just being who they are, and I just find it, yeah, it's just not good. You know, people are who they are. I don't think forcing someone to stop doing what is naturally embedded in who they are, I don't believe it's learned behaviour at all. I think it's just people attracted to what they're attracted to. I believe little factors can change, but you're still either attracted to a man or a woman, you know, or both. And that sexuality is, you know, who people are. You know, it's kind of how they base their lives, but why should your opinion be forced upon someone just because you don't agree with it? When if it makes them happy, get your finger out of the pie. Like, let people live their lives. If it makes them happy, they're not hurting anyone, not hurting you especially. And yeah, I just think it's time to lift the shame and like confinements on sexuality. Like, let people be who they are, you know. And I definitely want to be a strong voice for that. You know, I don't want people to ever feel scared or shame or resentment or anything like that for just being who they are. Like, let's all just be good people.
Now that we've touched on all of this, all these questions about your life and stuff like that, where do you kind of see yourself in the next couple of years? Like, what's in store for Brendan Pyper over the next, in the future?
Absolutely nothing. There'll be a few like categories. So like at work, I really want to develop and like grow and upskill, because that's exciting to me, like progression. Because I felt in other ventures in my life, you'd work so hard and would just never eventuate. There was always something. So to be able to be rewarded for the hard work is amazing. Personally, I am such a growth mindset person that I need to be growing and experiencing and educating and moving towards something. I feel like if I'm repeating year after year, you're just literally going around the sun and nothing's changing. So I like to finish the year the opposite to how I started it, always have something have been achieved in that year, or experience something different, or to be inching towards the happiness that you want. Like, and if year after year I'm not achieving that, it's okay, something's in the way of this again. So I need to dissect things and like find a different way around it. But the last year was a really tough year for me. I only put out one cover last year, and that was it, and that was in January. So until my latest single, Dreaming in Love, came out last month, it had been over a year since I'd done anything, so I apologise for that. But yeah, just to be more driven. Like, I had a conversation with one of my close mates during lockdown, because I've been sitting on this music for a long time, like, I mean, like 4 years. So it had been a long time, and I was just really insecure and like, I'm not good enough, it's not gonna do anything anyway, so who really cares? But just talking about it with certain people, they're like really excited to, and they want to hear it, and they want to play it at work, and they want to show their friends and stuff. And it's like, these are some people I've only met like for the last 6 months or a year ago, and just being so supportive. And a conversation with one of my close mates in lockdown, I was just saying this stuff and like, it's not gonna be good enough, and just real insecure about putting it out, and he was just like, don't be, like, just stop it and put it out. He's like, just put it out, hurry up, stop being like, why are you not putting it out? Hurry up, stop being so stupid,
just do it.
Yeah. And I was just like, yeah. Yeah, like I was just like, yeah, like I'm being so stupid, and yeah, I'm so thankful to him. But yeah, it's a kick I needed, and yeah, everything will be out real soon. I can't say exactly when because I don't know. I'm still waiting on masters and stuff to come through, but like definitely well before the end of the year.
Yeah,
it'll all be out. And yeah, there's the last 2 songs touch on like huge topics for me, because there's only a few more songs left on that EP, and especially the last 2. One touches on like domestic violence that I sadly had to witness in my own family, which was really difficult, but that's over now. And yeah, I was forced to write a song to deal with it, and played that for my mum just a few weeks ago, and she was really happy with it. So been hiding that from her for years because I was terrified whether she'd approve it or not, but she was yeah, she really liked it, so I was so grateful for that. But yeah, just releasing more music and just being busier with my voice, you know, that's the only thing that I feel like I have that I enjoy using, you know, like music is always going to be the most powerful thing that I can ever do. So you're just getting busier with that and being the best person I can be, like healthy mindset, healthy mind and body, you know, and just breaking stigmas on, you know, things that don't need to be there, you know. Times change, like older generations, things worked for them back then, but they don't work for us now. And it's not a lack of discipline or like the world's changing. You know, back in the day they said you're not allowed to do this or you'll be killed for doing this. It's like, why? Is there any logic based on that, or is that just fear because you have no idea about it?
And then that does mean the world is changing though.
Yeah.
It's changing for the better.
Yeah. And
we need to help facilitate that change and implement that change, and it's up to us to teach the younger generations now.
Yeah. So yeah, just end with like, it is definitely okay to not be okay sometimes. Like that's what I think with most of my friends, whenever they like come to me with a problem, like text or in person, you know, I don't know, the first piece of advice I always tend to give, like more lately, is like, feel what you need to feel like right now. Like, what is your first emotion? You're allowed to feel that. Like, sit with that for a bit and accept that you feel this way, and then dissect it and process what are you going to do next. But you are entitled to feel that initial first reaction feeling. Like, you deserve to feel that way. If you have been betrayed by someone, you're allowed to feel hurt. So allow yourself to feel that. You deserve to feel that way. And then process what are you going to do next. You know? And
where those emotions are coming from as well.
And that's so true.
Yeah. So what's the trigger here?
Yeah.
And where is it coming from? And why do I feel like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can I stop this? Or like have it not happen as often or anymore? Or how are you going to deal with it? I think fear has been such a powerful emotion for me. Probably my whole life, but understanding that it's there, you know, it's like the stranger in the room that you can't see, but it's constantly following you. You know, it's just such a presence, and it's like, for me, it was so unnecessary because I kept inviting that person to sit with me constantly and like suffocate me. So I think fear is such an underestimated emotion, like to actually acknowledge that it's there, you know, because it is such a powerful emotion. And just knowing that it's not okay to feel fear, you know, that's been a big thing for me. Especially for stupid reasons, you know, and that's where anxiety comes from a lot of the time. You know, to be you feeling an incorrect emotion other than what you're naturally meant to be feeling. You know, so I feel fear is plays a huge part in my life and obviously other people's lives as well. But I just encourage people to, if you need help, to seek it out. Like, if your life isn't okay, there's no need to keep drowning in that. Like, there is ways out. Like, I've had free counselling for so long, like over a year and a half. I've been in free counselling, so I didn't have to pay a cent, and it really helped me change the way that I viewed the world and others and myself. And that's it. Like, there's fixes to a lot of things out there if you just look, and there's funded counselling that can be free, that can help you with things that you can't help just yourself. So I just encourage people that if you do need help, to not be afraid to get it, because it's ultimately what you need. Yeah.
So what is like a typical weekend look?
I'm sorry, this interview's over actually, and I only approved the half an hour. So
no one approved anything because you don't have a manager.
Was this Kelly? Was it my manager?
No one you know is called Kelly. Or Emmett. Or anything.
I don't know you. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on here.
So are we done then, or?
I haven't approved of any of this. Have you got like a non-disclosure that I need to sign or something? Because
no,
I'm really not sure.
Because you're my friend and you paid me to be here.
I don't remember any of this. So what? No?
You can leave if you want to.
This is my house. Like, how did you get in here?
You let me in here. And end.